Hi, I'm Lam. Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Queen. I just finished filming the review, swatches, and demo for the bronze palette from Natasha Denona. And in the demo, I did a look using some of the favorite shade from swatching. My favorite kind of look to go for on a daily basis is something a little bit neutral, leaning warm, probably like a burnt orange, terracotta, a little bit of a glow on the lid, a little bit of smoke on the outer corner. And I like to keep it relatively natural if possible, because I usually get too excited when I play with eyeshadow and get out of control. If you love eyeshadow and makeup as much as me, you will understand the struggle to stay natural. It's very hard. But today I did a look and a review of this palette. I will link it in the description below so you can check it out. But I realized that the look I came up with looked a little bit too familiar. And I realized that it reminded me a lot of the kind of look that I would get with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, which is probably on my top 3 favorite eyeshadow formula and my favorite shade range. So I thought today we'll use this side by side. On one eye I'm gonna do bronze, on one eye I'm gonna do soft glam, and we will see if I can get an identical look using both of this palette. It was very popular when it first came out, and until now is a lot of people's staple palette, and I believe a lot of you guys will have this palette already. Maybe it will help you decide whether you wanna invest in this or not. I don't think they are identical. I think you can go different directions with both. I think the formulas are different enough to experience both. Those are my excuses to get both. You will see in the swatching and the demo, I'm going to talk more about the shade range and formula. And also in my review, I talk about the formula a lot. So you will get a little bit more information in that video. I also have the soft glam review video done when it first came out, and I will link it down below as well. The point of today's video is just to see if we can get the same look using these 2 different palettes from 2 different brands and 2 different formulas. And it's just fun to play with makeup. I will first do some swatching and then we'll get into the demo, because I want to swatch and see what shades actually look the same, because you know what they look in the pan might be different than when you swatch it or apply it. You do see a little bit of a similarity on the first glance. This palette is a little bit warm, a little bit burnt orangey. This one also, it has a little bit of purple. This one kind of pinky purple, a lot of bronzy kind of look. You can see there's a darker shade. So I get how people can see that they are similar, and it is worth it to take a look. On the top row here you have the bronze palette from Natasha Denona, and on the bottom row I try to match it with the most similar shades from the soft glam palette. And what I did is basically I went from left to right, top row to the bottom row in the bronze palette, and I just try to match it. First one right here is Suntan from bronze, and I match it with Sienna from soft glam. The second shade is Sundown, and I match it with Orange Soda. The third shade I try to match is Deep Dive, which is the cream to powder formula. And in soft glam I use Cypress Umber to try to match with that. And then next is Magma in bronze, and I use Mulberry in soft glam. Next I use Rich, and for Rich I use Rustic. Rustic from Soft Glam. Next, True Bronze. I match it with Bronze in Soft Glam. Next is Bliss, and I use Rose Pink because it's the closest shade from Soft Glam that I could see. And last but not least is Beach from Bronze, and I use Burnt Orange from Soft Glam. Definitely the formulas are different. In Natasha Denona eyeshadow, you see a softer pigment, which is probably intentional. She probably would like you to be able to build up slowly the intensity of the colors. And in Anastasia Soft Glam, it's bam, bam, bam. Pigment, 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 intensity. Suntan and Sienna, you can definitely achieve similar look. And Deep Dive and Cypress Umber look very different in the pan. One is totally eggplant and one is more brown, but when you swatch them, I can see that on the eye it potentially can look very similar. Magma from Bronze and Mulberry from Soft Glam have very similar undertone, but you can see Soft Glam is clearly more pigmented. The metallic shades are not similar. Beach and Burnt Orange from Soft Glam look very similar. I can see why I like bronze so much, because these kind of shades, these three specifically, are my favorite kind of shade to create an everyday look. You guys in, I think it's helpful to see both eyes at the same time, so you can see the difference as I apply the shadows. I'm going to clean off my brushes in between the palettes, and I already primed my eyelids using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Urbanite. I prime my eyes with this shade. It's kind of like a salmony shade, so it cancels out a lot of pigmentation, and it does help the shadow last a little bit better. So on this side, I'm going to do Bronze Palette from Natasha Denona, and on this side, I'm going to do Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The first thing I like to do is usually use a big fluffy blending brush like this. This is a Pro brush from Sephora. So I'm going to use Beach here. And tapping it twice. It's a little bit of kickback. Get on to blending. And I already know what shade this corresponds to in the Soft Glam palette, and that is the shade Burnt Orange, which is also my favorite. Dipping the brush into third time, and this time I'm focusing on this area. I like to apply a little bit of shadow on the bridge of my, not the bridge, but like where my eyebrows meet my nose, because I think that it gives a lot of depth. Dipping it in one more time. Again, my purpose is to try to create very similar looks. This eye, I'm going to use Burnt Orange, one of my favorite shades from Soft Glam. There's a lot of kickback also, you can see here. Oh. Yeah. So the same thing happened when I applied the eyeshadow on the lid. More pigment right away. It's very, very pigmented. Wow. You are not wasting my time. Oh my god, that blends in right away. And you can see it's, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see that this side is more punchy. A smaller blending brush to focus more on the outer corner. And this time I'm going in with Suntan from the Bronze Palette on this eye. Just so that I can intensify it a little bit. And the brush I'm using is from the Soft Glam palette. I'm gonna go in one more time. Doesn't really matter how many times you go into the pan though. Once again, the same brush, but I'm going in with Sienna, which is a very bright orange right here. I'm just gonna tap in a tiny bit. She's not playing with pigment, but far away it looks pretty much identical. I'm going to use a flat brush and deep into suntan. Oops. And go over the underneath on the lower lash line. And then I intensify a little bit. Okay. Sienna. Bigger flat brush. Going to use True Bronze. This eye. Just a veil of shimmer. Dip in second time. I like, my preference with shadow is that I like a more seamless look rather than very intense. I'm also gonna do a little bit of that on the lower lash line. Blend the two together. I didn't like how that looked, so I'm gonna go in with the same shade but a smaller flat brush. I think that will look better. Yeah, that's way better. Bronze, just the shade right here. I think it's gonna be more golden. Wow, a lot. Onto the brush here. Yeah, it's way more gold, and you can see the impact right away. Use a little bit of that on the lower lash line. Because that's so gold, it's not going to be similar. I'm going to dip in a little bit of rose pink right here. I'm going to try to make it a little more pink. Just a tiny bit on top of that. Lower lash line too. I'm going to blend out the edges into the bronze, the true bronze shade, to reinforce this side because it's not as gleaming. Wow. Soft Glam is not soft. Let's do Alloy, middle shade. Glistening, this shade right here. Since we're still on the soft glam side, I'm gonna dip into Cypress Umber, this dark brown, and use it as a liner. And I like to blend it out a lot. And a little bit of it in here as well. The inner corner. Deep dive, which I also really enjoy. Going to go on this side now. You can immediately see that even with the cream to powder formula, the Natasha Denona formula is very buildable and it's soft. Now we have both eyes completed. This is the soft glam side. This is bronze Natasha Denona side. What do we think? I think they are very comparable. I think both sides look fairly, probably like 85 to 90% identical. I don't think other people would be able to tell that they're different palettes. These are the two palettes, and I have to say that yes, they're very similar in the final result, but both palettes can do so much more than just that. So from the Soft Glam, you have a black, you have almost a white shade, and you have a lot in between. A lot of different transition shades. There's also a rosy shade right here. With the bronze palette, you do have different directions you can go. You have some purple, some cool tone, you have a little bit of a peachy option, and with this palette, the bronze palette, that gives you 15 shades. In Soft Glam, it's about $42, $45, and it gives you 12 shades. And they're totally different formula. Soft Glam pigmented right away, still very blendable. So if you're not careful, you can apply too much and it will be too late to take it off. But in this one, it's more user-friendly because the pigmentation is beautiful, but it's first start out very softly. So even if you take a little bit too much on the brush, you won't start off with a crazy pigmented look right away. However, I haven't tried different techniques with this palette, so I'm excited to do my 4 looks 1 palette with this very soon, coming up in the description, or stay tuned. The way that Natasha Denona arranged her eyeshadow in each palette is very thoughtful and very easy, user-friendly. I touch a lot on that. I talk very detailed on that on my review, so you should go watch that. Yeah, I like both. I'm glad I have both. I can't wait to use both and enjoy different good things about each of the palette. If you have the Soft Glam palette and this is the only type of look you are going for every day, then you're probably good with the Soft Glam. Don't get me wrong, Soft Glam also give you a lot of smoky and colorful pop of colors too. But what I mean is that if this is the only look you want to use with the bronze and you already use the Soft Glam, you already own the Soft Glam, you don't need the bronze. Yeah, so that is this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it helpful. Let me know in the comment section below if you have either of these palettes and what do you think, or are you gonna pick up one of these or you want to have both. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on my future uploads. There's a few very hot stuff coming up. Be kind to one another. The community, the world around us, and the beauty community on YouTube are both falling apart, so we need to do our best. We need to do our part to keep everyone safe and happy, and us happy too. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. And remember, don't flop.